Hey, we always live Elvis.
Hey, Memphis Mafia Kid,
And Teresa.
hey, hope all y'all are doing well this week. The starting of the week. Hope everybody had a great and wonderful weekend.
We did. It was
Yeah, we did.
relaxing.
We did.
At your mom and daddy's.
Relaxing, just relaxing and relaxing. So
Yep.
sometimes that's good for you. So, y'all, hey, we got some more viewers' questions, and we got some pretty good ones today, and we're gonna get into answering those. Teresa, you got anything before we start?
Well, I'm just showing off my pretty earrings you got me for our anniversary. They're a little much, but I do like Betsy Johnson, so at least he knows what I like. Okay, yes, you did good.
What can I say? Yeah, thank you, baby. Thank you.
Okay, this question is from Jeremy Phillips. Did Elvis express any regrets to not being able to perform abroad?
None that I ever heard. Not regrets. I mean, he said, a few times, many times, that he wanted, to perform overseas. There's no doubt about that. And I think had he lived, well, you know what? I don't think I know. Uh, if he'd have lived, he would have ended up doing a world tour, which we've talked about this a couple times on there, and you can't never really get it all out just in a few little segments. But he wanted to real bad, let's say, and
Do you think it was the Colonel keeping him from doing it?
I think there's no doubt on
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's just my opinion, but yeah. So, I mean, we've talked about that, but he wanted to bad, and like I said, things over the years and things that was done to keep his mind off of it, and different things to keep from doing it and different reasons. But I'll be honest, from what I understand, uh, from talking to mom and daddy and us just talking those stories, that basically that shit was fixing to come to an end. I think is the best way you could put it, and I think there was going to be a whole lot of changes, and things were definitely gonna be different. And the only thing I hate is just we all didn't get to see it. I think about that from time to time, and it's like I told y'all. I always wondered, as huge as he is now across the world, and never really performed outside, the United States. It's just imagine if he had of. Oh my gosh, you say Elvis can't get any bigger, but I don't know.
You said he was going to make changes. Was he going to let go of some people?
Yeah, we there's
downsize?
been talk of that, and Daddy knows a lot, and they'll probably get into more of that on some of their FM videos, and of course we may talk about it. But yes, there was already some changes being made at the time,
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be more that
That
we'll
they'll
get
talk
into
about.
down the road
Yeah. Okay.
for y'all.
From Whitney Webb, do you miss Graceland?
Man, this is when she first read that question off to me. I'm somewhat lost for words. Miss Graceland seems so small. I mean,
Graceland itself, or like Graceland when you lived there at that time?
Graceland altogether. And especially, when we lived there. I mean, if things would have been different, I think about the lot. Oh God, how? And don't get me wrong, y'all. Life's been great, and wouldn't take nothing for it. But sometimes you do. We all sit back and think. You know, I would think about if I could have all my gifts that I have now and still have living at Graceland, and all mixed together, how wonderful it would be. Like Teresa, my children, of course, my family, my mom, daddy, brother, just and grandkids, and that still be a huge part of it. And it still is. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, as far as living there and getting to share some experience, and then them to have known and met Elvis, and feel that feel. Y'all, I mean, sometimes I reach for the words, and I don't mean it big headed in no way. By all means, I know I'm blessed, and I thank God every day for that blessing. But it was just, I mean, it was unreal. It was so much fun. I mean, we didn't have any worries. We, I mean, even playing out after dark at nighttime, it didn't phase you, it didn't bother you. And in the daytime, of course, yeah, there were fans always there, but you just knew and felt it, and that's why y'all are my Elvis family. That there was, they wasn't there to harm you. We would talk. They'd be on the fence, up in the trees, on the gate. Some of them when the gates were open, which was a lot of times, they were inside, and we talked. And like I said, met and made wonderful friends and family. It just was always something to do, and it's so hard to explain y'all the feeling of being there, being on the grounds. I mean, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it that I've ever experienced, and nothing like it. I won't never experience anything like it again. But I'm so thankful for it, and I'm thankful that I still got all those beautiful, wonderful memories to go through my head, and believe me, they go through my head. And we'll talk a lot about more of that later. But that was a great question, and I thank you for that.
Okay. Brennan 9C2ZJ. Other than good old Southern cooking, what was Elvis's favorite restaurant? Italian, Oriental, Mexican, or something totally different?
Oh, we've talked about this. He liked Mexican. He liked pizza. Uh, you know, but I would have to say probably the good old Southern cooking, if you want to call it that. The meat and potatoes, and he just loved it. I grew up, and we did burgers, or like I said, meatloaf, hamburger steak, just gravy, good old Southern cooking. I mean, let's face it, and a lot of you may disagree, and if you do, that's fine, because you grew up and eat what you eat, but this ain't no eating like good old Southern eating. Let me just say that.
Well, seafood eating.
Well, yeah, like I said, I love seafood. It's funny because we do. I love. What do I not like is pretty much limited to very few things, because there's all kinds of wonderful foods out there, and believe me, I eat my share of them. So,
like your mama said, you just always been hungry.
Yeah, I mean,
eating,
always. That's my favorite is eating. That's it.
Yes.
Somebody say, well, "What's your hobby or your sport?" Eating.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, this one is from Elvis Fan. What is your opinion of Memphis nowadays?
Memphis has changed a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have like a bad, and just want to just take down Memphis, because it's not just Memphis. These are different days and times all over, and we all have our places. But I mean, Memphis has changed a lot. From the time I was a kid and a teenager and growing up, and being able to go around and do things and really not worry like it was then, it's gone. I mean,
now you do have to be careful.
Yeah, you have to be straight about it, y'all. I mean, I don't discourage. There's a lot of beautiful things in Memphis. It's a beautiful area. I mean, I was born, and pretty much raised in most of Memphis. But like y'all, you sit and think about your area and your great, wonderful spots, and then your bad spots. And in that sense, Memphis is it's dangerous.
I would say,
and we say, but like I said, not just Memphis. That's everywhere. Mm-hmm. But when you come to Memphis, or you go anywhere, y'all, just so we can put it that way, it's better to go in groups, small groups, or even, medium-sized, large groups. But at least, 4, 5, 6 of you maybe.
Be smart and be aware.
Hang together. It's just like in your areas at home. Use the same caution when you're there. Park in the best places you can park. Watch because there's no doubt about it, and has for years. During Elvis's birthday celebration, and especially during Elvis week, there are folks out there targeting
Right.
my Elvis family, and whoever they might could rob, steal from, or whatever. I mean, that's
Just
just
be careful.
yeah,
Be very careful.
that's just fact. But
Yeah.
but as far as putting Memphis down, no. I mean, Memphis is beautiful. I mean, Memphis. I'm glad that I got to share a lot of Memphis in my life, but like I said, y'all, to go back and compare it, but that's like anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere even close to the way it was back in the 70s.
But nothing is.
That's my point.
Nothing is.
That's my point.
Not even in the 80s or the 90s.
And
no.
we hate it because we have our memories. And I'm just like y'all. When you go maybe to a part of town or area that you grew up in, and you like, oh my gosh, it's just not. Remember that's the same way it is for me about going to Memphis. And I'll be honest, I've said it before. We hardly ever go to Memphis. I mean, if we go to Memphis, it's for a medical reason, or maybe like a fight. Dakota's fights, if he fights up in that area, and Elvis week mainly, and the birthday. But outside that,
we don't go shopping there.
Yeah, we just.
I used to.
I mean, we've got everything we need in our area, so we just don't. But that's a great question. Glad you asked that one.
Okay, Michelle Sosa Amor. What do you think about Gene saying it didn't look like Elvis in the casket?
This has come up several times too, and what I think about it is, I mean, I can understand people's different thoughts and views on it. We all see the same, but we all see different, if that makes sense, in different ways. Gene was our cousin. He was great, loved him. But, I think maybe just the trauma and like I said, it was on a lot of us. And once again, nobody ever really looks the same as they did when they were alive.
And it depends on how good a makeup artist.
Right. Let's just face it. And
some do really well. Some
different people, do different things. And I just, not to get deep into it and get gory, but they do the best they can. But for me, I can't. When I seen Elvis in the casket, it looked like Elvis. I mean, it just, but then it didn't too. If that makes sense, it just, I think a lot goes through, and with all that, and we think back, and you're not wanting to accept the real.
Well, probably too, because the light had gone out, the charisma and all that. There was a part of Elvis wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at
his presence
and I can
in the
see
way
it, right,
wasn't
right,
there,
and
so
it just. So, like I said, everybody has their reasons. I don't think. I really don't think he meant bad in every way, and I don't think. Who knows? I mean, only he knows what he meant by saying it. But I feel that he just meant it just wasn't the same to him. It just just didn't feel right.
All right, Travis Van Voorhees. What would Elvis have thought about someone jumping in his pool?
I think he would have probably got a kick out of it. And that's like that guy not too long ago that snuck in and ran jumping in the pool. I can see the side partly where people say that's disrespectful, but you got to know Elvis and the Elvis world and his connection with his Elvis family and fans. People did crazy things like that the whole time I was growing up. I mean, they would hop the fence and run across grounds. Of course, they'd get caught. Sneak up, had some one night, snuck up, they jumped the fence, snuck up and knocked on the door. And, of course, Red and Sonny was the one that answered the door. I remember it very well. And, it was nice to talk to them. They just thought, maybe they might get a glimpse to see Elvis. And, I haven't heard of it, but, there might have been others that actually jumped in the pool and maybe then run, jump back over. They got away with it.
Not saying that you're encouraging it.
No, no, by no means.
Not now,
by no means.
Yeah.
I mean, but
that was when he was alive, and
and I can understand a lot of y'all's, seeing it being somewhat disrespectful, but honestly, me and my family, we don't, because I mean that's the way Elvis would have took it. But when he would have heard about it, and it wouldn't have. Wouldn't have phased him, made him mad. Probably would have made him felt good, like fans always trying to see him or get to him. So.
User 0F6Q, etc. When you were a kid, did you ever try to curl your lip or smile like Elvis? No,
never. Am I alive? Yes. Sure.
when y'all were dressing up.
I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean, take it for what it is. But, there was a lot of times I would practice or try to practice that curled up lip smile. Even used it a little bit in my early days of dating. I mean, I'm sorry, y'all. It was just, it was cool to me. And I mean, it was just like, oh my God, and you just wanted to, and I'm not the only one. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of us guys did. I mean,
if you had curled your lip at me like that, I'd have turned around and walked the other way. Really?
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would have to.
No,
I'd be like, what?
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
We've had this argument
I know, and
several
I would
times, and it would have been just like, back, especially teenagers, you would have just been so in awe of me.
No.
Till it would have just been,
Sorry.
No.
No. All right, this one's from Shadaisies. Did Elvis like pizza?
Yes, I just said earlier he did like pizza.
He sat down and ate pizza with you.
Yep. Yeah, Trace touched on that. For some of you newcomers, I won't tell the whole story, but when we were in Palm Springs, woke up one morning actually. I don't remember the exact time, but it was over. Let's just say probably between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and Mom and Dad was asleep. Everybody was supposed to be asleep, and man, I was, once again, I told you my favorite thing. I was starving. I was hungry. So I said, well, I'm going to make my way to the kitchen. We'll get to the kitchen from the bedrooms. You had a little doorway. You had to walk through the living room into the kitchen. This is in Palm Springs. And I'm about half asleep, bopping, thinking, oh, my God, about all the great, wonderful foods in there and what I'm going to get. And I'm bopping. I get about halfway, and then out of the side, I feel it. And of course, like I told you, those feelings, and I'm like, oh, shit, to myself, and knew it was Elvis. And so I glanced over, and he said, asked me what I was doing. I said, well, hungry, and, I was going to get a little bite to eat. And he was watching Flintstones on TV and had a box of pizza that had been, I guess, delivered. And he said, well, you want to eat some pizza? And I said, sure, and so I went over and sat down on the couch, and we was eating pizza, and, he asked me about, was I enjoying my time and Palm Springs, and he was glad that we come and was company for Lisa, and that, we were having a good time. And it seemed like a long, but it wasn't. It was real short. And then he said, I'm going to go lay down, and I'll see you later. I said, okay. And he gets up and goes, and I'm still kind of sitting there in awe, and I'm thinking, oh my God, there's still a lot of pizza left. So,
yeah, that was you. All right.
So I grubbed down on some more pizza, and then we went to bed. So.
All right, last question from Terry Smith. Why did Gracin not hire folks like you to do tours?
Because they didn't want folks like us.
Yeah.
No, not well. Really, seriously. I mean, a lot of the family, including myself, my dad, we did work for Graceland. I wasn't never a tour guide. Daddy was. I worked in the restaurants across the street, managed them, assistant manager for a while, and then I moved into security before I left. But you know, a lot of the family did. They drove. You know, at the time when they first started, the vans, tour vans, go up. They were security. Some of them were tour guides. Just different spots. But I mean, my opinion, I personally think they didn't really want family doing the tours. They kind of put together when they first started. I haven't been, so I don't know exactly. I've heard for some things exactly what they do now, but you know, they would put together some little skits, and they wanted pretty much you to stay to that, and
kind of like they had their own narrative of it.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard because I mean, you know, people are going to ask questions. I mean, I know you can't take all day long, but for the money you pay, my opinion, especially today, you know, they should have had family and been able to give tours. And you know what? Even if a different family member told a different thing, or even the same thing but in their way, how great would to me that, I mean, people are getting to get a tour, and sometimes when they take multiple over the years and they get to hear different families members feelings on how they lived it, and you know what I'm saying, Teresa? It just I mean, and I'm no businessman, but I just always thought it could be it could have been so much greater. But bottom line, the question was why, and I personally just don't think they wanted to do it that way. Wanted family or close people that worked for Elvis actually being that much involved in Gracin. That's just, like I said, my opinion.
Yeah.
So that was the last
that
one.
That was the last one for
Y'all,
today.
that was the last one.
And I know the lighting's wrong on me. I'm still tweaking that.
We're going to get it right, y'all. We are going to get it right. But hey, y'all, keep sending these questions in. We appreciate them. We love them. And like I said, when you send a question, it brings back memories to me and makes me bounce off into stories and stuff. And you know, we have had such a great time over these years. And I hope and pray for many, many more years to do this with y'all. Hope each and every one of y'all have a good week.
Yes.
We'll see you again.
Safe. There's a lot of storms coming through.
We're going to have some here, and I know a lot of y'all. And too, I want to say, you know, our prayers go out to all those, once again, that was
affected by that.
Affected by tornadoes. I mean, it's, you know, it's part of Mother Nature that we just cannot control, and it's sometimes it's a hard, sad thing, but you know, you always seem to pull through it and overcome it. And for y'all that was really affected, our prayers go out to you, and hang in there. We know it'll get better for you. So God bless each and every one of you, and remember, we always live Elvis.